I don't know, guys. I thought I found the best spot you could back a team all season. And they checked every box for me. They were more talented than St. Louis. They were desperate for a win. The matchups were there. San Antonio being ravaged with injuries and having to play Jack Cohn, who was terrible the first time out against Houston. I thought they'd face the wrath of this Wade Phillips defense, who was torn apart the last 3 weeks by the XFL North. Short bus ride to San Antonio. Didn't have to get on a plane this week. They had Ja'Cory Roberson active. Michael Bandy active. I thought combined they could replace Jontre Kirkland. Plus, before kick, we find out Brandon Silvers is back. Why did I get excited about that? I would have rather Cole McDonald looking back. I'll say it again. We got Houston at 4 immediately, as soon as it opened on Monday. It closed at 6.5. I was giddy. The value was on my side, and that's the most important part when the line moves your way. And this was purely disgusting if you tailed us, so I'm sorry. If you were backing San Antonio here, you're a sick person and don't talk to me. Houston was the only side here. And yeah, I was wrong, but if you were backing San Antonio, you got lucky. This is how the sports books line their pockets. They got everybody on Houston. Everybody pile on the Roughnecks train here. And then this happens. Brandon Silvers gives the ball away in the absolute worst possible scenario in the fourth quarter with 3 minutes left. I think I'm out on Silvers. I think Houston is a quarterback away from being a legitimate championship contender. And they may find their way to the XFL championship game because the South doesn't look too strong. But what was that? And then looking around like, what did I do? I don't understand it. It put San Antonio back in the game. Your defense for Houston was phenomenal, but they had to stay on the field for 72 plays. I think that's probably close to a record for the most offensive plays run all season. San Antonio ran 72 of them. That defense was exhausted. That's actually 20 more plays than the Roughnecks ran. Houston defense, 6 sacks, held Cohn to 152 yards through the air, picked him off twice. They did everything asked of them. Meanwhile, other side of the ball, the struggles continue for A.J. Smith's offense. Silvers, 17 of 36, 2 scores, 2 picks, 47% completion percentage. That's actually less than Jack Cohn. Jalen McClendon, for perspective, completed 68% of his passes against that same San Antonio defense, plus threw for 118 more yards, and that was his first ever pro start. This should not have been a game at the end. They held San Antonio out of the end zone for 59 minutes, so I can't expect the defense, after Silvers throws that pick and sets the Brahmas up on the short porch, to be able to stop overtime from happening. I don't blame Ashane Harris. He would have given up a touchdown to TJ Vasher, who has 6 inches on him. He had to interfere. Obviously, everyone's banged up in the whole league at this point, especially the quarterbacks, right? A.J. McCarron didn't play. And we know Silvers was dealing with an arm injury. I think it was an elbow of his own. Maybe he shouldn't have played. Maybe they should have done the same thing in Houston. If Silvers wasn't ready, why bring him back? You have a viable option at backup. The difference with Cole McDonald, he can escape the pocket. Silvers doesn't have that mobility. And when you have a defensive front like San Antonio, he was going to take his shots, and he did. And he might have re-injured himself. Delonte Scott was getting home to the quarterback all afternoon. In the secondary, Luke Barco made another huge play to give up to prevent a touchdown, Cam Kelly gave his team a chance right at the end there with the pick. And in overtime, Houston did what they probably should have did from the jump. They went with Cole McDonald. And I understand Brandon Silvers said in the press conference that Cole McDonald usually takes care of the conversions. But I don't know. To me, you stick with McDonald the entire game, and this probably ends up 24-6 instead of 17-15. Silvers made some great throws in the first quarter. They really got going. He had a nice wheel route to hit Max Borgi. It wasn't all bad, but as the game went on, it got worse. They could not put San Antonio away. And by the skin of their teeth, they win it because of the inability to put drives together. You just can't have quarterback play like this against the worst team in the league. Got to be able to put these guys away. And And Jalen McClendon did. He shredded San Antonio. So what was going on here for Houston? That's my sob story as a Houston backer. I know all of you Roughnecks fans are probably like, what the hell are you talking about? We won the game. You did. Congratulations. You're 5-3. You lock up a playoff berth. But I don't know how any Houston fan could sit there. This is how I kind of felt after the DC-Seattle game week 1. I was like, okay, we escaped with a win, but now what? Box score was terrible. We have to improve. It's the same situation with Houston. You got out a win, but you have to get better if you're going to have any shot at a title. Got a couple tough games coming up, Vegas and Arlington, to end the season. It won't be easy. But the San Antonio Brahmas, who are the XFL's Iowa Hawkeyes, stink it up again on ABC. Again, they allow 6 sacks, 2 turnovers. Jack Cohn plays the entire game through a dislocated pinky. I don't know. San Antonio's going 2-8, guys. They got Orlando. They got, I think, DC to finish the season to make matters worse. They actually are a favorite this week. We'll get into the week 9 lines. And you just have to feel for the fans at the Alamo Dome, right? They're passionate fans. They had 25,000 there for their opener. That has now dropped to 11,000. But those 11,000 have not lost faith in their team. I think it's just a rebuilding process. We'll have to see if Paxton Lynch will go next week against his former team. But it's frustrating that the Brahmas are the team that ended up on ABC more than anybody else this year. Time and time again, DC, Seattle have been relegated. I mean, think about Seattle, relegated to FX on a Thursday night. Friday night they played. Like, San Antonio has got the benefit of the doubt with the best slots. And if you're a casual football fan and you're scrolling through your TV lineup just trying to find a football game on Easter and you tune into the San Antonio Brahmas offense, I don't blame you if you're out on the XFL after that. That game should have been DC, Seattle. Know the schedule's set in stone, and I love football, so I'll watch the games no matter what. But I can't blame you. If that's the sample you got of the XFL, it was not a good game.